Yeah, like I said, I went to Granada, and I was really outgoing and really bubbly, and really never thought that anything like anxiety or depression or any of those things would ever come to me. My senior year, I got an offer to run track at a college down in San Diego, and I was really excited. It was my dream school, so I went. And about 4 months into track, I started realizing I was getting really sick before all of my practices and all of my matches and meets. And I wasn't sure what it was, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought like I had like a dietary issue. And I went home and I got tested, and it came back with nothing. And I remember specifically it was one rainy day, and practice got canceled, and I was in the middle of dry heaving over the toilet, like I always did during my upset stomachs. And I got the notice that practice was canceled, and when I looked at my phone, all of my stomach pain went away. And I realized that there was some association with it. And it was the worst thing I wanted to hear, because track is something I love and still do love. So I didn't really know what the right thing to do was, and so I fled and I went home. I missed my meet, I missed my practice, and I went home and we tried to start working through it. But I remember laying on the bathroom floor, and I was so embarrassed because it was a community bathroom that I would, every day that I would get sick, I would put a sign that I made that said, "Bathroom out of order," so someone wouldn't come in and see me. And I was so embarrassed, and I didn't know who to go to, and I was so alone. I thought I could do it on my own because I always had done it before. And then I called my mom, and I just said, "Mom, I'm not okay." And she flew me home, and that started the process. I moved home from school, and it was my dream school. And I moved home, and I thought that home was going to fix it. When I got home for Thanksgiving break, my brother got diagnosed with a mental disorder and had to be put in a 5150 on a mandatory hold. And then 3 weeks later, my parents announced that they were getting a divorce. So everything that I thought was home, that was going to cure it and help me, was no longer there anymore. And I realized I had to figure this out on my own. I had to figure how to do it. My family, despite all of that was going on, was willing to talk with me about it. And I realized that I needed to go to someone else. And I was scared. I didn't want to go to someone. I thought it would make me look weak. It would make me look like I failed, since I already had to leave the school I love and had to drop my scholarship for my athletics and had to do all these things that I was already embarrassed of. I started going to therapy and realized quickly that this wasn't the therapist for me. And I thought, again, there's something wrong with me. When I realized that there were other options, that there are other therapists and there's other people to talk to, I finally found my niche, and I found the professors too, but the professors and the adults and the friends and the therapists that could come around me. I started growing. It didn't stop the attacks, but it made me learn why they were happening. So when attacks did happen, I figured out the way to work through them. And for me, it was laying on my ground with my hands in the air, or my hands facing up, and I have a playlist on my phone that I listen to. And then after, I would always try to let myself journal about whatever I could. It didn't have to be about what happened, it would just be about anything. And in the middle of it, I thought for so long that there's something so wrong with me, and that I'm going to have to deal with this forever, and that's just so not fair. Why is this happening to me? That's not fair. And looking back now, I spoke on this panel last year, and I can't even say what I'm about to say now, but I haven't had an issue in like 6 months. And having the skills that I've learned from videos like this and openly talking about it has made me grow so much. If it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for my friends or my family and going home and discussing and talking about it, I know that I would still feel like there wasn't a fix. But I can say that I'm working through it, and I know that it might never ever fully go away, but I know that I have now the tools and I know what I can do to fix it. So that's what I had to share. It wasn't short, I'm sorry.
That's what strength looks like.